All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Cade Gaming. I am Cade, and today we're going to take a little first look. I'm going to show you a little bit of Cuisineer. This is kind of a dungeon crawler meets restaurant sim game with seasons like Stardew Valley, as well as a day and night cycle where you have that kind of timer. I'm gonna try and skip over some of the story stuff so that way I don't give away too many spoilers and I can really show you the game's mechanics. That way you can decide if you like it or not. So go ahead, we'll jump in here and do a new save. This is the main town, and one of the nice things is essentially you have options. On any given day, you can decide to open your restaurant, you could go out to the dungeon, there are plenty of stores, there's bartering, even side quests in this game, which is nice. So you can run up to people and you can actually find things to do in your free time. Whether it is, some people, they might ask you to gather an ingredient for them in the dungeon, other people might ask you to cook, you know, a certain number of some ingredient or some entree for them too. So it's pretty fun. Essentially, there's a lot of different options. You can kind of make the game what you want it to be. On top of that too, I think there's a little bit of comedy peppered in there. I really think the game leans into what it is. I think it's a little bit self-aware. It does have characters that are anthropomorphic. I love, for example, you have people with names that are referencing food every single step of the way, including this character, Alder, who I think is hysterical. He's your carpenter. He's so tall that he actually crouches for some of the frames when you're chatting with him, which I think is just really charming, really satisfying. I think the general gameplay loop is you go out to the dungeon, which I'm going to show you here in a minute. You gather ingredients so that way you can make money by opening your restaurant, and then you can spend that money to upgrade your gear, to upgrade your restaurant, make it bigger, buy new decorations, anything like that too. And it's really a lot of fun because essentially you can kind of set your own pace as well. So here's kind of your first look here at combat. Running around, chickens are kind of the basic enemy. I love every single time you kill chickens, the other ones run away in fear. From there, you have traps, these little things on the ground. Those are traps. You walk over them and they activate. And one kind of nice, I think, fun feature of the game is traps do damage enemies. So if you do end up using traps to your advantage, if you're surrounded, for example, you can lead them over traps, stand on them, and use them to kill enemies. There are lootable items. You see like this stump here, you see this crate. That means that they can be broken and there might be loot inside. So stuff like wood, that's really valuable. Wood is something that you're absolutely going to need to upgrade your restaurant. Here we go, some breakable stones, all that type of stuff. Combat is pretty straightforward. I think it's fun. It's very much an action hack and slash with plenty of different options. And it's great to be able to have that kind of versatility. There's different weapons, for example, that have different attack animations or move at different speeds. Your dash goes across platforms. You can find little hidden rooms, combat gauntlets, you name it. I think the game is great. It has auto loot as well. And I think on top of that too, it's nice just because essentially you can decide once you're out and about, hey, what's worth your time, right? If I don't need any more eggs, I'm gonna start ignoring the chickens. I'm gonna run past them. If I need to, I can drop stuff as well. You can combo things together. Attacks, destroy projectiles, all of it. So it's a lot of fun. Especially for those who do like a little bit of a challenge. This game is not simply comfortable casual. You actually do have to try it, right? There absolutely are opportunities to take damage like that, for example. Combat is pretty straightforward. Left click is your attack. It follows your mouse, so you can actually move around and attack stuff just using the mouse if you need to. Right click is, for right now, we have the plates equipped. It is a simple plate throw. R is reload, so that you can then throw a bunch more plates again if you need to. E is your secondary skill. So in this instance, it would be a massive plate throw, and you see the cooldown here at the bottom bar. And then Q is also based on your weapon. Since we have this weapon equipped, it drops a giant cast iron skillet and then explodes with fire. So really, really satisfying. It's kind of fun sometimes to chain things up. And then on top of that, you do have a dash. Dash is W. It's pretty fluid. There are dash attacks, for example. This is one of the faster weapons, so it makes it a little bit easier, for example, to dodge, jump in, and attack. But on the flip side, its damage is notably lower as well. Here we go. I'm gonna see if I can't find like a gauntlet ring for you guys. You can already see there are unique enemies the farther down you go. As you progress in the game as well, you will find new areas for gathering materials with new ingredients, with new things to upgrade your home. Ooh, I just dropped a pair of boots. Oh, yes, I love this. Stuff like that I think is kind of a nice extra option. Ooh, the boots auto-equip. They must have some sort of a frost mechanic as well. So, one thing I do love about the game is I feel like it is very good at letting things happen on the fly. I think that makes up a little pet peeve of mine is when you open your inventory, it does not pause. You can see this enemy is still coming towards me. You know what I mean? It's sometimes frustrating and difficult, particularly because the game is on a timer. The one benefit being when you're out here in the dungeon, time stops. You no longer have to worry about like rushing down different levels so that you can make it far enough, get the materials you need, you know, fight a boss, for example, within the day. There we go. Healing, really one of the primary ways to do it is you can buy items that will heal you. Unfortunately, it's early on, of course, so we aren't able to use that. There we go. It's fun when they grew up like that because it makes it just a little bit easier. There we go. Right. There we go. And let's see what, oh, we're already full on inventory. One thing I think is really difficult, there is a lot of inventory management issues for sure, especially early on. Your backpack only holds 10 items, unfortunately. I am gonna go ahead and equip this stronger spatula here. And there doesn't appear to be a way to sell stuff either. So you can simply garbage that extra stuff that you don't need. Let's take a quick look too. What was my quest? Explore the dungeon. Return to town. One nice thing, your return to town, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Whenever you are ready, it's a long channel, so you have to be ready, you have to be safe, but you simply press the L button and you start using your return to town portal item. And if you do die out in the dungeon, you lose at least half of your items. So it's always best if you feel like you're at a risk, find a way, find a time, find a safe place to jump back if you can. And know that enemies will rubber band. They will follow you all the way. Once they see you, they will keep going. So here you can see all the stuff that I got. I killed 97 enemies. Not bad for a first day run, not bad at all. And then now that I have all of this stuff, I can go back to my restaurant, for example, and I can put it all inside of the refrigerator, give it all to storage. So I'll show you guys kind of what that looks like here shortly. One nice thing I really love about the game is it seems like the devs have already patched in just the first few weeks of the game's release some quality of life updates. A great example is they now have a transfer all inventory button, see? So that makes it super easy. The same applies to your refrigerator, which is where you keep all your ingredients. Another thing I love, there's like a little sort button. So this will help organize your items when you have a bunch stored here inside of anything. And on top of that, I think they're also listening to some of the criticism because early on when I was testing this game, your maximum stacks were only 20. And there were some quests that would require 25 or even 30 pieces of something. So they've now increased the stack size so far, what looks like to be 30. And I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually do kind of update it a little bit farther. So I really appreciate that. It's little things like that to me that make indie games seem promising, you know, where they offer that. You can upgrade storage. This is the refrigerator right here where I've stored all of my ingredients. You can see this little plus arrow. It shows you if you go and gather all of these kind of important ingredients and also save up the money, you can then upgrade storage. So it really quickly becomes, I think, manageable. It's just maybe that first couple of days in game that makes it difficult. I'm gonna jump into a hopefully harder area here. I'm gonna try going up to the Mala Caverns and just see what we can find for you guys. See if I can't get maybe a little bit of harder combat and show you some other items too, which I really love. Here it's nice. One other thing they have is like lava in this area, so you kind of have to be careful what you're doing. Here we go. That ring of fire you see, that's from actually some of my equipment, something that I have that does leave that ring of fire when you dash. In addition to that as well, I leave some poison where I started my dash, which I think is really, really helpful to have something both at the beginning and at the end. It just can help add a little bit of like control over an enemy, basically. One, I think, small thing for me, I've worked on upgrading and enhancing some equipment, and one thing I have found is like these faster, slightly weaker weapons, they don't get the job done. I have found, for example, you know, when I'm doing stuff with this, they become like just meat shields for some enemies. I have to hit them over and over and over, which can be tricky, you know. But yeah, this is almost like a bull thing that charges at you. It deals a tremendous amount of damage if you end up getting hit by it. You also see the potatoes in the distance that are launching their basically Pringles. And the nice thing is you could destroy the Pringles if you need to. However, overall, I think I try to dodge when I can. Here we go. I also, you can see down on my little adventuring belt, I purchased some boba tea. I love boba tea. I could drink boba tea every single day. The boba tea is a way for me to heal myself, and that can be upgraded too. I am also able to essentially go into town and upgrade the boba to make it stronger and better by using food, of all things, to upgrade it. So I really appreciate that. It's a lot of fun. Things do get a little hectic at some point where you have just so much going on. Okay, I'll throw some plates. Kill the mushroom tree. Go. You do have status effects, as you can see. I got caught on fire there by that little pepper. So you want to be a little careful, I think, at times, just to make sure. There is a map. So if you are getting lost, you can see around, see what you've already explored, see maybe where you might need to go. The dungeons are procedurally generated, so I think something I really appreciate about these is, you know, every time I go into this, it's not the same formula. It can give you something different. That, to me, is really fun. I think that's a great little quality of life thing, and it keeps it interesting for me. I am a hack and slash lover, so for me to have that extra, like, something in the game, it keeps it fresh. It keeps it interesting. Ooh, yep. I ate that. There we go. You can see I've taken a decent amount of damage down there in the bottom left too, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna drink my boba tea. It is a consumable, so once you drink it, it is gone. Here we go. So I try to space it out when I can. There are occasionally healing shrines, these giant like I don't know, almost fountain-like things in the dungeon that can help heal you. They're just really rare. You don't get to see them too often, so. Ooh. One nice kind of I think, challenging thing in this game is they have absolutely introduced a variety of enemies to make it challenging. I think it's very satisfying. In terms of the difficulty curve, I have not felt like I could just coast through this game. I have felt like I need to work, put in the effort. And I have died a number of times as well. It's one of those things where I am always trying to be as careful as I can, just because this game is a little punishing. You take a hit, some enemies, they hit for 20 damage. You're gonna take some damage, when you get hit. I really do, before we get to a boss, yeah, perfect. What is it? Oh, pay respects. I do not know what this is. I don't think I've ever had this before. Here we go. Ah, here's a healing. This is perfect. I can drink from that. That's a good portion healed. So this is a challenge room. And I love doing these. They are such a great addition. They absolutely stress me out. Some stuff can be really, really difficult in here. But essentially, if you are able to successfully defeat all the enemies in this room, you will get a treasure chest at the end. So let's see if I can pull this off for you. So far, so good. I'm feeling good about this one. The auto loot, so convenient when you get to difficulties like this. Oh my gosh. There we go. Shoot! I love that double dash. Oh man. Whew, that is saving me so much here. There we go. Go. That's some nice. If you're wondering, I am essentially dashing, attacking. There we go. And now let's see what we got from our chest. Whew. There we go. Not too much, but it also was not a super hard room. It's gonna be super helpful though. I'll just sort my stuff here. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's continue on. Another healing fountain. That's always convenient. Ooh, and I think, yeah, this is gonna be the boss room. Let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens. Honestly, life is short. Oops. Oops. Oops, okay. Oh, yep, we are in trouble. Am I going to be able to back out without dying? Oh my gosh. Follow-up question. Can I kill him just by dashing? Whoop, okay. Sheesh, this thing is so fast. Ooh, that was a close one. Oh, shoot. Oh, it's so difficult. But see, that's why I love this game. It is so challenging. Unfortunately, you can see just how much I lost, right? All these resources are gone. You only get to keep a few things. One of the things I lost was my bigger weapon as well, unfortunately. But you live and you learn. You know what I mean? Here is the restaurant mechanic. Once you're inside your restaurant, you see this little top left button up here. You click that and then you can start editing. You can move items around, make them, you know, the way you want them to look. I can also redecorate the walls, amongst other things. It's really, really nice to be able to kind of customize and make it more personal. And then whenever you're done, you simply back out and you save. And then to open your restaurant, you run up to the door, and instead of just pressing F, you hold down F to open your restaurant. If you look up here in the top right, you also see time of day. there is a lunch rush, tea time, and dinner rush as well, which I think is really great. Whenever someone comes in, they will wait here on the carpet. After that, they will go find a table, unless in this instance there isn't one, and then they will think about what they want to order. And from what I've seen so far, most of the time, they only get items that you know how to make. It does depend. Sometimes stuff has popped up, but for the most part, it's just stuff that I already have in my recipe book, which I appreciate, even here early on. You can keep the restaurant open as long as you like throughout the day. Essentially, depending on how much money you want to make, you can stay open until late night. I've had some evenings where I stay open till 10 or 11. And this game is a game where when you are playing, it is right at midnight that you get kicked out to bed, basically. So running the restaurant is super easy. Essentially what happens is after someone chooses what they want to order, you simply click on your pot here, you click on the recipe, and I don't even have to search for the recipe, which I am super grateful for, and it will populate it automatically. Then people come down here, you get paid from them, you get that little tip, and the next spot is opened up. So really simple, really fun. I love after you get into some like later gameplay as the game progresses, you do get into some challenges where you are trying to juggle multiple different cooking stations. Really great quality of life thing. People mostly go get their own food, which I think is super nice. Essentially, it gives you the time to manage basically every other part of the restaurant yourself. And early on, it is very normal for you to unfortunately upset a few people because you cannot afford more tables. So one thing I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go ahead and maybe let this person eat, and then I'm gonna hold to close the restaurant. Everyone leaves with the exception of the person who's currently eating. They give you their money and they're gone, and you can get kind of an update on how your day went. And that's kind of the general gameplay loop. You know, I think that for me, it's really, really satisfying to be able to any given night hop onto this game and think, you know, I am really feeling like playing a hack and slash game, you know, a dungeon crawler. Other nights, I want to run the restaurant. I want to make money. I want to upgrade things. I want to make people happy. I want to give them gifts. So it's a great game for someone who has different moods and kind of lets their gameplay at night dictate what they might want to do. But go ahead, leave a comment below or let me know if there's anything I missed. Tell us how you feel about the game. So far, I've really loved it. It's a pretty new release. I think there's a lot of little quality of life things that are very nice. And again, it's very promising that the devs are patching in things. I've seen, I think, 2 in the last week, 2 patches that have improved quality of life for the game. If you have any questions or comments, let me know down below. Thank you for coming and enjoy your coffee.